Good afternoon, traders. Futures Brizio here. 4:23 p.m. on Thursday, March 26th. Hope everybody's had a great day and looking a little rough here on camera, I think. I was out doing some errands and outside, and it's nice and warm down here. And so you can see my favorite hat here. I know it's backwards on the camera, I think. Dogs are my favorite people. I love dogs. I have dog. Well, I have one dog, but I also volunteer at an animal shelter. So uh, this is the hat I wear when I go and volunteer. But put it on today just because I felt like it. So hope everybody's having a good day. I just want to jump in here, do a quick review, show you a couple of things. So I made the video yesterday, kind of getting into a little bit more about the currency strength indicator that I had coded. And again, this is a kind of a reworked version of an indicator that's already available on TradingView. So the one that's already there, I think, is this one. Let me put it on the chart here. Yeah. And then there's this one, which I think is, yeah, we don't want that one. Let's get this one off. Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned yesterday that I took this indicator, which is made by whoever this person is, LND Money. It's currency strength indicator CSI 5-step something something. Now, I went on his, I'm assuming it's a him, could be a her. Don't want to call him something that he's not. But anyways, this indicator is part of a system that this developer uses. This is only one part of it. And like I said, you can see it's very similar to the one I've got up here, my custom one, but you can also see it's very, very noisy. And if I take off, let me move myself out of the way here. Just for a second here, I'm going to take off these other indicators. I can always put my template back on. So here it is, okay? And you can see why this is not usable to me. It's basically this, but it's all 8 major currencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, it's only 7. It's the euro, the dollar, the pound, the Aussie, the Kiwi, the yen, and the CAD. No Swiss franc. And I don't know how you're supposed to use this. I mean, this is just a crazy mess. So anyways, I had somebody, a coder, take this indicator and again, split it up so that it's only showing the 2 lines for the currency pair that I'm looking at. So in this case, again, I'm not going to rehash everything I talked about yesterday. This is the New Zealand dollar yen. You can see up here on the top left. And the orange line is always the front currency and the blue line is always the back currency. So this is the Kiwi, this is the yen. And you can see this thing in here is just, it's a complete mess, honestly. So I couldn't use this. Plus, it doesn't have the Swiss franc. Not that I trade a lot of Swiss franc pairs, but I don't know why he didn't include it. Maybe he just doesn't like the Swiss franc. I don't know. But like I said, this is a 5-step system. And I found the website. I don't know how I found it, but I looked it up and basically he has a whole system that he bases this on using like Bollinger Bands and stuff. Again, nothing that I'm interested in. All right. And so I don't use this. So I took this and I had this created. So let me get this off the chart. No need to see that anymore. And we have this. Now I talked about how I used this yesterday, but I did want to show you the other one because I know I mentioned a couple of times that I took an existing one and just had it modified. And this is the modified one, which, as you can clearly see, is much easier to read and interpret than that whole mess with all 7 of them printed on the chart. And I have no interest in that. So that's the indicator itself. Okay. So I currently have 2 funded. Actually, I have 3 funded Forex accounts. One I'm already funded. I have 2 more I just started with 2 different prop firms. And It's not important with the prop firms. I don't have any affiliate links. I'm not trying to sell you on any particular prop firm. But, and I don't usually show you that for that reason, but, and I'm not even gonna tell. I mean, I guess you can tell when I bring them up, but because it'll be in the address line here unless I blur it out. But like I said, I'm not trying to sell you any particular product. I don't have any, there's no affiliate links in the description or anything like that. So not trying to push it, but I just wanted to show you. Now, all of these trades I took on the daily chart and the daily chart and using just this indicator and obviously looking at price action. I said, never trade these signals in a vacuum. Listen to yesterday's video if you want a little bit more information. Okay. But these two accounts, so this is one of them, and you can see it's up. It's in profit about $930 to $50,000. I just started it. You can see I had a tiny bit of drawdown to start, but now it's moving up. And they're all in profit except for this one, which is pound Canadian. The Canadian pairs are a pain in my ass. I got to be honest with you. But I mean, it's 16 bucks. It's basically break even. I'll look at the chart later and see if it's holding. And then this one I started yesterday. This is a different prop firm. They use the same trading platform. It's called Match Trader. It's just what they use. And you can see this one's up $654. This is also a $50,000 account. And that's it. And yes, you can see up here, this is the name of the company. Again, I'm not trying to sell it because I could care less. I have no interest and no affiliate links, but that just happens to be who it is. And yes, it's a demo. You can see it's in challenge phase 1. Okay, this is a 1-step. So I just have to pass this. I got to make 10%, I think, which is like five grand. And you can see I take relatively safe positions because I'm not interested in blowing the account up. I probably could go obviously a little higher than 0.3. I probably could do a half a lot, maybe one lot. But the thing is, I'm trading on the daily chart. And so my stop losses are pretty big. And so I don't want to, if I have 3 or 4 trades open, let's say I have a standard lot on all of them, or even a half a lot with a wide stop loss, and all of a sudden they all start moving against me, like I don't know, whenever something happens, news, whatever, and then all of a sudden I hit that drawdown limit. And those of you that trade in prop firms, you're allowed anywhere from like 4, 5, 6% drawdown, either total drawdown or open drawdown, like during the day, like open equity. And if you hit that, then you breach the account and you're done. You have to reset it. So I'm not interested in that. So even if all these end up hitting stop loss, I wouldn't blow the account up. Now, granted, again, I could go a little bit higher because again, I got to make 5 grand. It's going to take me forever if I sit on these like 0.3 lots. So I probably will step these up on future trades, but anywhere between zero point 0.5 and maybe one full lot, but I'm not going to go crazy. This particular prop firm does not have a consistency rule, and I'm not going to get in if you don't know what that is. Consistency rule is basically the prop firm wants to see that you can trade consistently over time and not just get lucky on like 1 or 2 trades to pass the challenge, and even once you're funded. And so if you I forget what there's no consistency rule on this one. The other one has a consistency rule, and it's 50% during the challenge phase and it's 45% once you're funded, which means in the challenge phase, you can't have any one trading day account for more than 50% of your total profit. Okay. And in the funded phase, you can't have one more than 45%. So they actually tighten it down even a little bit more once you're funded. And so they do that so that you can prove that you can trade profitably, consistently, and not just get lucky on 1 or 2 trades. Now, this particular this one does not have a consistency rule, which is why I wanted to try them out. The profit share is a little bit less, but pretty much it's I think it's 80% unless you buy up to 90%, which I didn't. But I just wanted to try them out. But all the other parameters are pretty much the same, and there's no consistency rule. So I figured I'd give them a try, and plus they were having a good sale. And again, I'm not here selling, so I don't have any links. I just wanted to show you these. Okay, so anyways, that's what I have open right now. And again, all of these trades were taken using the that indicator. Now, I don't have pound Canadian. You can see I have slightly different trades here than on the other one because on the other one, through this one here, um, you can see I just changed it. They use the same platform, so that's why it looks very similar. They both use Match Trader. These I had taken these a couple of these previously, so these are some more matured trades. Um, and so that's what I'm sitting on. And you can see, these are even smaller positions: point 0.2, point 0.2, point 0.3, point 0.3. Again, I got to increase this, otherwise it's going to take me forever to hit my profit target. But I'm just very careful because of the drawdown rules. I don't want to like get knocked out just because I had too many trades on, and then I hit, all of a sudden some news that sends the market the other way. And all of a sudden go into drawdown and I hit my daily loss limit or something. It's just not worth it. But I obviously can be more aggressive than this, and I will. Plus, I've still been back testing the indicator a little bit too. I'm tweaking around the settings, but I'm definitely feeling much better about it. And so that will give me more confident. But again, I take all these trades off the daily chart. I will use like a 4-hour chart to set stop losses, so that I may initially so if I get into like a long like this, this is where I got in at the dotted line. My stop loss, I might initially put my stop loss like when I got in right here. This is where I got in with this dash line. I don't know originally where I had my stop loss. I probably had it like way down here just to give it some breathing room, because sometimes when I get these signals, there it can be a little late and the market sometimes pulls back, and I don't want to get stopped out on that, which is another reason why I don't take big size positions either, because that's a big stop loss. And it's not just the open equity, it's the closed equity too, like the max drawdown that I have to worry about. And so, but once the trade starts going in my favor, I will move the stop loss up to a much closer area to my entry, and then eventually to break even, and then maybe even eventually a trailing stop once it goes into profit. I don't have a trailing stop on this right now, but I'll look at it, and you can see this is the 4-hour chart because I use this to set my parameters. But and let's see, this is Euro Aussie. So let's see where my stop loss is on this. And I think I did move this last night. My stop loss right now is at 1643, which is 1643 is just below this candle here. So I don't think I changed it. This is where I started. It's just below this candle. Now that we've moved up, I probably will move it up to break even, which is 165.70. In fact, let's just do that right now. And again, this is a 4-hour chart, so it still gives me enough room to now I only have $18 of risk after I change this. Okay. And so yeah, so those are my two funded. I do have a personal account too. This is my personal Forex account. This is with I use Oanda. It's one of the few brokers that we have here in the US, but I have Oanda, and I do have, you can see I've got some of these trades open on here. And so this is my live personal account. Okay, I know you can't see it. It's outside the view of this chart, but so you have to take my word for it. This is a live account. But anyways, and then I do have a third funded account too. It's smaller. It's a $25,000 one. About a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, I posted a video that had a payout certificate, like $2,000 payout. That I took on that $25,000 one, which is still running. But since then, I've opened up two more $50,000 ones, and I'm trying to find a trade copy service that will trade across match trade, but I've not been able to find one. I can find one that will copy from MetaTrader to TradeLocker to Match Trader, to Match Trader. And my personal account is MetaTrader, but my personal account is pretty small. I only have like $10,000 in there, because really I like the prop accounts because I can just pay a fee and have like access to a lot more equity. But I'm going to start building up that personal account and maybe take some of my profits from my prop accounts and put them in there. So the problem is if I copy from my MetaTrader to my funded accounts, I'm going to have small position sizes because I can't take big trades on my personal account. It's just the way it is. And so that doesn't really work. And I can't find one that will copy from match trader to match trader. I spent time Googling and checking out many different websites, which kind of creeps me out because I don't know if they're even legitimate, but I couldn't find one. All the ones I found that had match trader, they'd allow match trader, but they don't allow you to have match trader to be the master account, only the slave account. So basically, you have to have like your MetaTrader account feeding the match trader accounts and not the other way. And again, because my personal account is not that big, I just I can't do that. So for now, I'm just manually doing them across all like 3 or 4 platforms, which is a real pain in the ass, I have to say. But since I trade on the daily chart, it's not like I'm scalping. It's like, oh my God, I got to get into this trade like right this second or I'm going to miss it, right? Like if you're scalping or day trading, you know, your minutes can, make the difference between you having a trade that's worth taking and not. I'm trading on the daily chart, so the candle only updates once a day. So when I see a signal, I got plenty of time to get into it if I choose to take it. So it's not a big deal, but it would be nice. So if anybody knows copying service that you can trade match trader and be able to copy from a match trader account to another match trader account, please let me know. Put it in the description, but I have not been able to find one so far. So enough about that. So I just did want to point that out. And if we take just what did I have open there? Euro Kiwi. So let's go to Euro Kiwi. And you can see I'm long on Euro Kiwi. Why am I long? Well, right here on the indicator, again, I'm on the daily chart, you can see, is right here. Okay. This little divergence right here with the euro going up and the New Zealand dollar trading down. This is where my entry was probably, the day after, because obviously in hindsight, it's very clear. When it first happens, you're not 100% sure because, you got to wait. So as I told you yesterday, I don't chase these trades though. So when I see one of these entries, if I don't get it within like a couple of days of the signal, then I'll just skip it because I'm not going to chase the market because this can give a little bit late signals. Not always. Sometimes they're balls on like right at the beginning, even on the daily chart. But I'm not going to chase it, and so if I don't catch it, like I said, within 1 to 3 days, 1 to 2 preferably of the entry, that's when I'm, jumping in. Okay. And you can see this is moving up. Now, as far as like a target for this particular trade, I mean, if we go to an even higher time frame, I don't know where this is going to go. I mean, this could very well just be the start of a downtrend. This could be like, you know, down correction, eventually roll over. So, you know, even though we had this big long uptrend, um, I don't know ultimately whether this is going to just keep going up here. So I'm going to manage this. So this is one where it's like, on the daily chart, it looks like we've broken some structure here and we're heading up. So where am I going to look to maybe exit this trade or at least put a take profit or manage a trade? Maybe a little further up, like maybe at this previous support level will turn into resistance. If it gets through there, maybe it'll get up to here. If it's, obviously if it's an uptrend that's just starting, then, obviously this is going to go a long, long time. But I don't know. And, this is where you kind of have to look at your higher time frames, daily, weekly charts. Say, what is this thing doing? And, we did have this pretty steep, aggressive move to the downside. And again, I don't trade Elliott Wave anymore, but if any of you out there are old Elliotticians, this to me looks like, it's in wave 4, right? We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually turn around and go down for 5. That's very possible if you're just looking at this area right here. But in the long run, that's why, I'll probably look to at least manage this trade once it gets up around this area here. So we'll see what happens. I have not put a TP on this trade yet, but this is just one example. What else was I in? I'll just look at a couple more here. I think I was in Aussie USD short. So let's look at that. Here's Aussie USD short. No, this is, yeah. Whoops, I'm on the weekly chart. Aussie USD short. So you can see we're heading down, and you can see here was the divergence. I took this trade last night. I took this one on the new account, and you can see the divergence right here. They were heading down. They kind of came together, and then the Aussie crossed through, heading down, and the Australian dollar has been trending up. And so I took this short. Now again, if we look at a higher time frame, we're technically still in an uptrend, but you can see we've kind of broken some structure here. We had this high right here. We had this little pullback. And so price, even if you look at like this level here, I mean, it certainly broke through this level right here. We had this pullback, led to this new high, and then we've now snapped through here yesterday. So, that's why I felt pretty confident. And it looks like if this candle closes about where it is, we would have closed even below this next layer of structure right here. And so where would my target be? Well, it would at least be back at a previous swing, which would be somewhere down here at the origin of this move up. So this could potentially go for a while. But again, the trade originated on the CSI indicator right here. And I have this set, just so you know, on 21 period look back. I know I was talking yesterday about 7, 10, 14, 21. Again, the shorter you make it, the more noisy. You'll get more signals, but you also make it more noisy too. The longer you make it, you'll get less signals. It'll definitely make the chart less noisy. You'll get a lot less signals, but the ones you do get probably will be solid. But you may have to go weeks or months, especially on a daily time frame before you'll get an entry. And I don't want to go that long. I mean, I don't need to like be in trades all the time. And I have like 20 something pairs here I follow. So there's always something cooking every week. But if I change this to 50, like let's say, you're going to really quiet the indicator down even more. But you'll also see during trends, once a trend is going, you tend to miss the entries on the pullbacks because the indicator is running too slow. If I change this to 50, we have this long entry that happens right here. Right here's this long entry. Look at that. I mean, that pegged it right here, right at the beginning. These candles right in here, this one or this one, and look at this. But you don't get another entry. All this, if you miss this one, you don't get an entry here. You don't get any other entries going up. And you wouldn't even have this short entry right now either because it hasn't even happened yet. So that's why you don't want to make it too long because you're just going to leave a lot of good trades on the table that you don't have to, unless you really are okay with, only taking literally maybe, a handful of trades in a year because it's probably going to take, quite a while. I mean, this signal came back on November of last year, November of 2025. Here we are at the end of March. So that's, 5 months? And we haven't had another trade in 5 months. And it doesn't look like there's going to be one anytime soon using this length, using a 50 period. You can see up here, it changed to 50. So that's why I just kind of split the difference. And I think 21 is a good number. So that's what I'd be 20, 21, whatever. I just, I have like old moving average numbers in my head. And 21 is like a famous moving average, 20, 21. So that doesn't mean anything, but it's just a number I had in my head. So I left it at 20. And then, so there's the entry, or 21. And there's the entry. 20, maybe 20, 21 is not going to make any difference. Okay. So that's really, what I wanted to show you in terms of futures. I did close this wheat trade right here. This is the one I showed you yesterday. It was in profit. I did close it. Here was the exit up here. So it was a profitable trade. We did have this real steep trend line right here. And I didn't really feel like I wanted to risk the trend line bounce. And you can see it did reject off it initially when it hit it. You can see this long wick on the bottom side of this candle. And then it eventually broke. But even still, even though it broke it, it's still pulled back near it. I think this is going to go higher. Like as I mentioned, the commitment of traders, the weekly commitment of traders index is still pointing to higher prices in wheat. So I'm just going to wait for another entry signal and then I'll probably get back into this. But I didn't get it today. I could have held the trade from yesterday, but since I closed it, I wasn't going to re-enter it until I get a signal. And on this, this indicator is not used obviously for this asset. It does, it's not working in these grain markets. So this, you can ignore the CSI right now. But Let me just turn it off for a second. So what I use here is the stochastic RSI, is pretty much what I use. And I know I deleted it when I was showing you that other indicator. But this was the entry that I had that I took on this one, and this is where I got out. So I'll wait, price eventually will pull back, and then, I'll look to re-enter this. But so I did not take, bottom line, did not take any grain trades today. Here's corn, and corn also had a bullish signal. I mentioned this yesterday, but you can see today it did absolutely nothing. It basically closed unchanged. Here's today's candle right here. It's doji, and it basically closed exactly where yesterday closed. So, and I did mention that. Yesterday that it was just um, I didn't like this pattern. You can see the price is just stuck right here. So, but the indicator is showing a potential turn higher. So if we can get some bullish price action uh, tomorrow, maybe I'll enter it. But with all of these recent highs, and again, I'm glad I didn't enter it yesterday because it would be basically going nowhere fast. Then there could be a long entry here at some point soon, maybe tomorrow, but it didn't come today. You can see it did nothing today. So, and then soybeans, I'm not really too interested in soybeans right now. I mean, overall, this market is still in an uptrend. We did have this big bearish candle here, but the stochastic RSI is still in the oversold area. I really like to see it bend and start coming out of this area if we're going to continue the uptrend. But with this giant bearish engulfing candle here, I'm a little bit leery about, this chopping around in here. So there was no trade. If we get, again, some strong bullish price action setting up here, and we get this stochastic RSI starting to bend out of this oversold area, then I'll take a long. But I'm not looking to take any short here either because, again, the stochastic RSI, I'd have to see it come back up into this oversold, overbought area, then turn down. And we don't have that right now. So again, those are the only three I looked at today. I did not take any trades on these futures, currency futures, and there were no trades for me on the grain market. So it was all Forex, since yesterday afternoon, and no grain trades. But we'll see tomorrow. Corn could be a potential. I think corn is the most likely one that could be setting up for a trade on that. So, and for that, I've got I think I mentioned I have a funded account for um, futures, and I do have a small personal account too, um, that I trade that. So I'm going back and forth between a lot of platforms. But the funded account, I can trade it here on TradingView. I have it connected. I have my broker connected. TradeOvate, I have it connected through here. So I can take the trades directly on my TradingView, which is nice. I don't have to go to TradeOvate to place the trades. But on my personal account, I have to go to my MetaTrader personal account and trade that. This is my personal one here inside of MetaTrader 5 with my own broker. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to, again, guys, just kind of talk about this indicator and, how I use it. Here's a market just before we wrap. This is the Canadian yen, and you can see like there's no trade here for me right now. The two lines are kind of like just paralleling each other. And as I said, yes, I either like to see them crisscross each other, like steep crosses, one go up, one go down. That's the best trades. Or, in a trending market, kind of see them come together and then diverge away from each other, which is maybe what we'll get here. I do have an alert set just above price, right? That's what this dotted line is, where, these two lines may flatline. They might, I prefer for them to actually come together and like touch and then diverge away. But with this 21 period setting, I'm not sure if that'll happen. But what I'll be looking for here, if this uptrend is going to continue, is at some point these will start to bend up. The orange line will start hockey sticking straight up, and at the same time, the yen one will hockey stick down, and that will be my signal that the trend's continuing. Um, but I might not see them actually come together. And that's the only disadvantage with having the look back period so long. If I change this to a 10, I bet you'll see these two lines come together a lot more. Yeah. So on 10, you can see they're sitting right on top of each other. But this is a little confusing, right? If you see this in real time, you're like, oh yeah, there you go, right? Chris crosses up, crosses down, crosses up, and you get whipsawed in and out. There's just no need for that. And so I will just wait and see, and I'll just look for like a bearish engulfing candle and for the lines to start diverging away from each other. So even if they don't actually cross each other or actually touch. Still, when they flatline like this for a while, that's very corrective. And you can see that's what we're doing, right? We haven't broken any market structure here, right? We still got overall, we've got this major swing low down here. We're nowhere near that. And so to me, the uptrend's still intact. It's just that it's, the market's pulling back. But at some point, we'll probably see again this bend up, this one bend down. You'll see like a bullish engulfing candle, and that will be kind of the signal to resume the long. And that's how I'm judging these markets. Now, unless a big crossover happens where like all of a sudden the yen hockey sticks up and the CAD hockey sticks down, and that would roll the trend more bearish. But right now, as long as they're kind of flat line right here, I'm still anticipating eventually a bullish signal. Okay. So I just sit and wait. I'm not going to try to judge it. So this is like on my watch list, but there's no trade on this right now. And just quickly looking at the indicator, I'm like, nope, not interested. They're flat. That means the price is flat. There's nothing going on. There's no volatility on either one of these. And you can see the last 3 days how small the range has been, even on this daily chart, right? This just basically has gone nowhere. And so there's no point taking a trade on that, right? What are you going to do? You're tying up your equity. You're tying up your equity on a trade that's dead in the water, and you run the risk of a loss or going into drawdown, and again tying up your equity that you could load up on another trade that you do have a good signal on. So like, why bother, right? I'll just check it every day. Again, I'm looking at the daily chart. I don't need to look at it constantly, right? Once a day, twice a day, I'll look to see what price is doing, see what the indicators tell me. But the indicator is only going to change once a day too, and unless I turn on the live feed. And that's the last thing. This does have this thing here, live feed, where it actually gives you the indicator will move in real time. But that can be deceiving. You see, if I change it in real time, now you've still got pretty much a flat Canadian dollar, but you have the yen bending up. The problem with doing this is that it can look like there's an entry because because you're looking at a real data feed, but the daily candle hasn't closed yet. And until the candle closes, any move like that could quickly just reverse. So you can say, oh, it's going to cross. I'm going to take a short in this market now. And then all of a sudden the daily candle closes, it pulls back and closes, back inside the range. And then this line flat lines again or starts going down. And now you're stuck in a dead trade, in a losing trade. So, I just I use this live feed very cautiously. Uh, the only time I really might use this is like if it looks like we're in the middle of the session, all of a sudden I start seeing a real bold bullish candle forming. Again, there is a risk that that candle eventually will not close at the highs, that it pulls way back and throws a big wick, and it's a false breakout and it closes back inside the range. But that's where you have to use a little bit of just intuition. And if I think that maybe like that is the entry and I don't necessarily want to miss it, then fine, then I'll take the trade. But I rather just wait for the candle to close and for the market to kind of show its hand a little bit that way. And with that said, like I said, everything is still flat. So I'm not interested in this. So all right. So yeah, that's it, guys. No trade, stay in futures. I'll watch for corn tomorrow for a potential entry. I did close that wheat trade for a nice profit. I think I made like $1,000 on that yesterday. So that was That was good for one contract that, I held it for one day. And again, I could have held it because it is probably going to go higher. The COT is on my side, but I knew there was going to be a reaction off that trend line. I wanted that to play out. So I'll just look for another entry and I'll get back in. So, all right. So I'll leave it there, guys. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Any questions, comments on anything I covered today, the indicator or whatever, just leave it down below. Happy to answer it. Again, I don't have any affiliate links on prop firms. So don't take any of that, what I showed you, to endorse any of those firms. I don't, like I said, I'm not getting paid by them to talk about them. I just wanted you to I just wanted to show you them, and there's nothing I can do, right? It's on the screen unless I blur it out when I edit the video, but I probably won't bother. I told you I'm not, endorsing them. And like I said, trading is risky and you got to use your own judgment. And I just wanted to show you how I trade right now, especially on Forex, and showing you that just using a simple indicator and a very straight system, just using that one indicator and price action, market structure, price action on a daily chart, that it's very effective. So, all right, I'll leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you all soon. All right, thanks.